Welcome to the Insurance Marketing Organization podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews IMO experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their IMOs, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be interviewing Tim Price. Tim, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure.
Tim, you are up to some really cool stuff. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I have been in the financial insurance industry for 21 years in a production standpoint, as well as I was on the national training committee for General Electric and helped develop their training module. As well, I was a divisional development director for another insurance company. And I also am a professional coach, speaker, and trainer for the John Maxwell team.
So you got a whole lot going on.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. Let's go back in time a little bit. How'd you get started in the industry?
Well, it was in I got recruited in 1999. And I was in a group of men. A guy came up to me and I was young. And he said, "Hey, have you ever thought about this?" And I said, I'm young and that's a stretch, but why not?
Well, obviously, there's been a whole lot that's gone on since then. So congratulations on all of the success. I'm sure the long version of the story should be in a book somewhere. Let's talk. Let's go backwards. So you ended with a coach for the John Maxwell organization. What inspired you to do that?
I have a heart for loving people and seeing people meet their goals and allowing people to really become better versions of them, learning to be able to have effective communication and learning how to connect with people, not just communicate, and being able to position themselves to be able to make a difference and have value when they are in a role that's creating solutions.
And then how did you, usually folks who work in the Maxwell or work for the Maxwell organization come to them via something like there's always a story. What's your story of your John Maxwell story?
It's interesting. I've been kind of had a heart for servant leadership and developing for a long time, and being out in the insurance industry, being able to see people, navigate through how am I supposed to be successful? How do I navigate through that? So I really grew using a part of the John Maxwell platform of servant leadership even before I became part of the JMT. And it meshed. And so that's how I came to really then joining the JMT and being able to do it both sides, the insurance industry, as well as in my own personal life.
Absolutely. Now, do you use the John Maxwell philosophies and materials in the financial services business?
Well, absolutely. It's perfect for it because ultimately our goal is to develop, communicate, and create solutions.
Talk a little bit about what you're doing now in financial services.
Well, I working in the safe money world, helping people fight taxes, inflation, and not outlive their money in a process of long-term care planning, estate planning, as well as the Medicare world.
And then who is an ideal client for you for that business?
Well, anybody that wants to not outlive their money, preserve their assets, and try to live as long as they can or protect one spouse's assets. So, there's a planning mode there, and it depends on the mindset, depending on the age. So retirement age is typically the ideal candidate, but that age is starting to get a little lower with the volatility of our nation.
Yeah, absolutely. How are those clients finding you?
Well, I do multiple marketing techniques, social media, just relationship. People I'm connecting with on one module, say if it's Medicare, they'll say, "Hey, can you help me preserve this side?" or vice versa. And so I do different forms of mailings, networking, as well as I've been in the business a long time, so I get a lot of referrals.
Absolutely. Yes. Word of mouth is a huge help. And obviously, folks liking what you do enough to share it with others speaks volumes to the work that you are doing. What do you like best about what you do?
Making a difference, getting the love on people, adding value, and just developing and making a difference for families' lives.
That is absolutely incredible. What are you finding some of the biggest mistakes that they're making that you're able to help them with are?
Well, part of the influx of marketing to people not knowing what is truth or being scammed, getting different stories for everything that they hear. It's being a safe place, and people being frozen because they're not quite sure what to do or what's the best path to take. Just doing nothing in a lot of cases.
Sure, which is a decision, even though you're doing nothing. You are deciding to not do anything. You are absolutely right. I know that you are a voracious learner. You're always growing. You're always working on yourself. Obviously, I'm sure you're a fan of the Maxwell material. What are some of the other best books you've read that have kind of impacted your career and your personal life?
The Napoleon Hill line, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill has been a real go-to for me. And I've always pushed people, go for no, people's mindset when they're trying to, and from a developmental role standpoint of, hey, let's change our mindset on what our ultimate goal is. And it's to navigate why a lot of people in this business fail. So changing that mindset of like the Go for No book, the Think and Grow Rich. And those who don't know, Think and Grow Rich doesn't necessarily mean money. It's a mindset.
Absolutely my favorite book of all time. Now, you also do a significant amount of coaching using the Maxwell principles outside of financial services. Talk a little bit about that business.
Well, that is an ongoing business of being able to, I call it the four attitude. Living a for attitude, because anytime you're thinking for somebody or for a client or for whatever that looks like, it's looking forward, becoming less of myself. And so I live a life where anybody I come in contact with, I'm not only communicating but connecting and being for people, driving my business being about people, but not driving people to my business about me. And so it's a lifestyle and a mind frame of being able to make a difference and add value in every situation in the way you treat people.
Absolutely. Who is an ideal non-financial services candidate client for that business?
Somebody who wants to be mentally and spiritually, physically healthy from the inside out, being able to identify their visions and their values, being able to go, hey, I'm here, but I want somebody to walk along with me to get here in a process of self-reflection. And so anybody that able to identify that looking forward is an ideal candidate.
If you had to go back in time and start your career over, what would you do differently? What would you tell yourself?
Oh man, get into it earlier. It's like I just make decisions. I've always been an entrepreneur, so I've had different businesses. So I probably would have got into the insurance or even in a developmental role or even financial services earlier.
You give advice to clients every day. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Do something every day to move forward.
Absolutely.
Quit looking in the past, getting stuck in the mud, but keep doing, what did I do today to be a little better myself tomorrow?
Talk to us a little bit outside of the office. What do you do for fun?
Well, I kind of like to teach or live at what I preach. And so I'm intentional about my days of being mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy in my life. So I have a box and I'm intentional about, okay, I love to work out. I love to read. I love to put myself in a position where I am connecting with people. So it may be networking or everywhere I go, but what I do for fun is I work out. I position myself in social environments that allows me to, the best version of me.
Amen to that. What else do you want to share that I haven't thought to ask you yet?
Well, it's one of those things when it comes to whoever's watching this. More than likely, they're going to be insurance or looking at this industry. Just surround yourself with people that can actually allow you to grow, and always focus on not just activity, but learning how to communicate. I mean, to connect, just communicate with people, and not just be a business. Learn to love people, and then the business will come.
I love it. Well, this is for our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more about Tim Price. Where is the best place for us to send them?
Well, you can email me at timprice@pricelessleader.com. And that's PRICELESS leader, LEADER.com. And that probably right now the best place to shoot me an email and share with me some thoughts.
Awesome. Well, we greatly appreciate you sharing that on air. This has been Seth Greene with Tim Price. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Definitely my pleasure.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.